Hey guys, it's Amber here from Positive Development. We got Tucker and Oakley here joining us today. This video is just going to help you get to know us a little bit, know who we are, what we do, and I'm going to answer some questions that we got from you all on Instagram and Facebook. If you'd like us to answer some more questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and we'd be happy to do another video or just answer it directly. First question. My name is Amber Aquart. It's spelt like a quart of milk. My actual name was Amber Oliver, but then I got married to my husband, whose name is Nick Aquart. And so now my name is technically Amber Oliver Aquart. But if you call me Amber Aquart, that's totally fine. As long as you remember my name, that's great. Tucker and Oakley are just Tucker and Oakley. They don't have any special last names. How old am I? I am 27 years old. My birthday is January 20th, 1992. I feel like I'm being drilled or interviewed right now. I guess technically I am. That's okay. One of the most popular questions I got was, how long have you been training dogs? When did you get started? And how did you get started? Another really popular question that I got was, what got me into dog training? So if you're watching this video, I hope you know that I'm a professional dog trainer. And I'll start off by saying I did not always plan on being a dog trainer. I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I think that that's really common in this field. A lot of people think they want to be a vet because they don't know dog training exists. Anywho, I volunteered at a raptor rehabilitation center, and within a few years I found out that I got really queasy around blood and that I don't enjoy medical sides of things. I was holding a bald eagle and it had an injured wing, and while they were cleaning its wing, I had to feel it flinching and wincing, and I almost fainted. So not the career for me. From there, I worked with exotic animals, going to birthday parties and educational shows, and I worked with a company who had different types of exotic animals, and we would take them to places and educate the public on the types of animals and all that. So I really enjoyed that, but I didn't feel like it was something I could do long term and make a career out of. So I actually applied to work at a PetSmart, and they hired me as their dog trainer, and I was not planning to be a dog trainer. Long story short, within 3 years, I was one of the top selling dog trainers in the South Florida area. And then I ended up being what they call an area trainer, which is the trainer that trains the trainers how to train. That was in 2011. So I've been professionally training dogs since 2011. And then I kind of felt like I couldn't grow from there. So I moved to a dog training facility in Miami, Florida. Was there for a few years, grew a whole lot, learned a whole lot, and moved to Boston, and now here I am. When did you have your first dog, and when did you have the first dog you trained? I grew up with dogs my whole entire life. I can't remember a day without a dog. We grew up with Cocker Spaniels. That's actually another question from our friend Emily with Fowler and Berlin. They asked what our first dog was. My first dogs, we had multiple. Our first dogs were Cocker Spaniels. My first dog ever, her name was Honey, and she was a kind of brownish Cocker Spaniel. Then we got a few more Cocker Spaniels, and I grew up with a Cocker Spaniel named Macy. I actually wrote a blog post about her a few years ago, and she was really my heart. She was with me for 14 years. She was a really big part of my life. I had those Cocker Spaniels when I became a dog trainer, and then I ended up adopting this troublemaker. Hi, thank you. I ended up adopting this troublemaker while I was a dog trainer, and I really think that he taught me a whole lot that I would not have been able to learn. So I trained my family dogs, but he was technically my first project that didn't have any influence from anyone else. Oh, Hugo's mom wants to know, how, when, why did I get the dogs and their background stories? So that's really cool. Tucker here, this is Tucker. Thank you. Oakley's drooling here. You can have cookies. Tucker was the first dog I adopted. I adopted him in 2012, and he was maybe about 6-7 months old. When I adopted him, I saw a picture of him online. It was one of those sad, sappy stories of how sick he was and underweight he was, how he was abandoned in the woods, and I felt really bad. I saw his picture. He was located in Georgia, and they agreed to adopt him out to me. And now I've had him for almost 7 years. That's pretty crazy. Oakley here. Oakley was living at the training facility that I worked at after PetSmart, called Applause Your Paws, and he was a previous client's dog that they decided that they couldn't handle or they didn't want him anymore. I started working there, met him, fell in love with him, did everything I could to have him. I literally moved out of my parents' house so that I could adopt him. But yeah, I met him and I thought his temperament was going to be exactly what I needed, and I was right because we're a perfect fit. I think I'm the luckiest one ever because he ended up with me. Good boy. Good job. What are the top 3 reasons you focus on positive reinforcement? Because it works, number 1. Number 2, it's the most fun. And why not, right? If you can accomplish the same thing without harming the dog and with making it fun and enjoyable for both parties, why not? I think that answers it pretty fun, in a fun way. From Attention Canine Training, she asked, how much have your methods changed since the beginning? And I think that's a really great question that I was just talking with her about. So my methods kind of changed from thinking Cesar Millan was great, thinking he was terrible, and oh my gosh, how could you do anything like that to your dog? Then I was very, very, very into clickers and shaping behaviors and stuff like that. I was never against 100% a tool, but I chose to stay away from certain tools, and I still do. And as I've grown, I've really found that the term Lima kind of describes what I like and what I do. So as I've grown, I've come to an understanding that aversive is up to the dog, not up to the person. I try to really work with the dog and the person in front of me and make it as positive, fun, relationship focused as I can. That's really more my focus now, is the relationship between the person and the dog, making sure that things are fair for the dog, things are fun for the dog, but also fair and fun for the person too. I don't think my methods have changed so much as I have learned and to be open to other methods and open to learning different types of things. Okay, so this question comes from Elliot.House. It says, did you always want to work with dogs? Yes, I, as a little kid, used to pretend to be a dog. You can ask anyone in my family. At like 2 years old, I was crawling on the floor barking rather than walking and talking. Don't want to get into some crazy stories, but yeah, I've always pretended to be a dog, said I wanted to be a dog, and then when I got older, realized I couldn't be a dog. I wanted to work with dogs. Started off wanting to be a veterinarian and quickly learned that was not the path for me. They also asked, do you believe people should always adopt, or can people choose a specific breed and do their homework to find a responsible breeder? I am pro-responsible adopting, and I am pro-responsible, I guess, shopping. I don't like that word, but if you're really responsible about it and you know a specific breed that you want and you find someone who is reputable and knows what they're doing, is bettering the breed, absolutely go to a breeder. But I personally have a really huge heart for rescues. Not to say that I won't buy a dog from a breeder, but I've just found what I need in dogs from rescue dogs. Do I have a stronger bond with one of the dogs, and if so, which one? I think I have different bonds with each of them. Tucker and I have like this long time, I don't know how to describe it. He was my first dog. We've been through a lot together, and he just naturally is in tune with me. So he's very sensitive and very loyal, and I think that makes him, it makes us have a really special connection. However, I was always afraid when I adopted Oakley that I wouldn't bond with Oakley the same that I have bonded with Tucker. But Oakley and I have an entirely different bond, and I can't say that one bond is stronger than the other. What I have with Oakley is really special, though, because he's kind of everything that I needed in a different sense. Not in a professional training way, but in a personal way. So I know it doesn't satisfy your question, which dog is your favorite, but I honestly can't say because they fulfill different parts of my heart, right? Finley and Tucker asked, are both of the dogs rescues, and which one did you get first? I answered this in a different question, kind of, but I'll answer it directly. Yes, they are both rescues. I didn't personally rescue them. They were rescued from other people and then set up for adoption, so I adopted them. I know some people get like triggered by the word rescue. I call them rescues because they were rehomed and I adopted them. I got Tucker first. I adopted Tucker in 2012 and I adopted Oakley in 2015. Beautiful teeth. Yeah. Majestic.Mara, I hope I said that right. They asked, why have you moved a couple of times? So that's on my husband. It's his fault. My husband, Nick, he goes to law school, and we're in his last year of law school right now, and he gets summer jobs. So we went to DC for the summer, and we'll be moving. This is a big announcement that not everyone knows about. We'll be moving to Oklahoma City in August, so that'll be interesting. Oof. For you. That's when I actually